Hello, my name is David Ponder. I want to thank you for taking the time to view this video. To continue in our series, we're going to be looking at some questions you need to ask before you get a reverse mortgage. So let's look into these questions. These are questions I ask every one of my customers when we start the process of investigating a reverse mortgage. So the first question is, what are you trying to solve? Very simple, but if we look into this in depth, there could be a lot to it. So a customer usually has some goal that they're trying to solve, and they're looking to reverse mortgage to see that it will solve it. Probably the most common thing I have as a goal, or people tell me, is they want to pay off an existing loan on the property or some other debts to free up some monthly cash flow. So the goal might be monthly cash flow. Another goal may be to do some remodeling on the home. Maybe another goal is to have some cash reserves, so if things happen in the future, they have the ability to tap that loan and to cover those things, or it could be a combination of all those things. So the number one thing I have people think about is to really define what it is they're trying to solve before they start anything. So that's the first thing we'll talk about. Now, if that answer doesn't mean go get a reverse mortgage, there's a couple of other things we need to look at. The second question is, how long do you want to stay in this house? If someone says, I'm going to get this loan, I'm going to fix up the house, and a year later I'm going to sell it, I'd say, well, you can do that, but I really wouldn't recommend it. And the reason I wouldn't recommend it is because it really doesn't make economic sense, because a reverse mortgage is a better long-term solution than a short-term solution. So if someone says, I want to keep this house, I really don't plan on moving, I'm going to be here at least 2 or 3 years, if not a lot longer, I'd say, hey, this is a good solution. If someone knows they're going to move in that short time period, or there's a high probability of it, they really need to question whether the reverse mortgage is a good idea to do. Now, with that said, if you wound up doing a reverse mortgage and something happened and you needed to move or wanted to move or had to move, you can. There's nothing keeping you in that house. There's no prepayment penalty on the loan, anything like that. But if you're just looking at it from, hey, what's the best? It's better just to do it if you have a long-term perspective. Now, the last question I'd ask a customer is, what's the long-term goal for the home? Usually I'll get some variation of, this is what we're trying to solve, we plan on staying here, and when we pass away, we're going to leave the house to the kids or another family member, and they're just going to sell it. And I say, okay, well, that makes sense, and you can do all those things with a reverse mortgage. If they said, well, I want to leave the house to someone and they're going to live in the house, and I want them to live in the house and they need to live in the house, and this person was not on title to do this loan, say it's a child or someone, I'd say, well, how are they going to go about that? And they said, well, they're going to pay off the loan. I said, well, they can do that. Do they have the funds to do that? How are they going to do that? Because you don't want to get in a position where you're making plans and someone else is going to depend upon those plans, and they find out a lot later on that it's just not going to work that way. So if the goal is to leave the house free and clear for someone else to live in, probably want to do a reverse mortgage. If the goal is to, you're going to leave the house to someone else and they're going to sell it anyway and pay it off with the proceeds of the sale of the property, reverse mortgage makes a lot of sense. So to summarize, 3 questions you need to answer before you do a reverse mortgage are, what am I trying to solve? How long do I plan on living in this house? And what's the goal of the home in the long run? If I can be of any help with these questions or other questions that come up, please feel free to give me a call or visit my website. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.